Hello, Internet. It's another self-isolation uh, video evening because I miss getting to do quiz and talk to people and people listen and just whatever. So since I don't have my quiz outlet available, I was just going to answer random questions that people had asked me on the internet. There was just a very strange noise outside. Um, so we're going to start. Caitlin had asked me to ramble about the 90s X-Men cartoon series, which, okay. So the 90s X-Men cartoon series was basically my gateway into comic books. I I know that guys walked by on the sidewalk like 3 times, and every time he looks up to the window and makes eye contact with me, maybe he's looked up more times and I just haven't been looking down. But it's slightly unsettling, I'll tell you that. The '90s X-Men cartoon series on Fox, it was the coolest thing. It was amazing. It was pretty much my gateway into specifically into the X-Men, but kind of also into comic books in general. I've never been like uh, a huge comic nerd. Um, it was just a format I never picked up on too much as a kid. I mean, I've read a lot of stuff since then, and obviously I've watched a lot of movies and stuff. But basically, the X Men '90s cartoon canon was like, I think I just heard somebody get in an accident. That's unfortunate. Um, the X Men '90s cartoon series was like my entryway, and it's still the like so many of my preconceived notions about the characters are based off of that. So it's really interesting I mean, I know there are things going on in the comics that don't necessarily match up with all of that, but I mean, like, because I mean, the comics canon is like 60 years long and ridiculously convoluted. I know a stupid amount of that because I used to be friends with somebody who was very into X-Men lore and would lecture, kind of go on about things sometimes when she was bored. Um, but like it was the cartoon was like the most straightforward and simple to understand entry point, so it's been like a major influence on how I see the characters and how you see people and how it's, I mean, you get into Rogue and Gambit, should they be together, and the whole love triangle between Cyclops and Jean Grey and Wolverine. And I mean, there was the whole Dark Phoenix saga, which was like, I mean, it was kind of like a mind-blowingly amazing thing. And I've watched some of the cartoons since then, and like it's really kind of funny. Like the animation has not necessarily kept up the way that I would want it to, but I mean, like it's still really enjoyable, and I still really like it. But yeah, so that's me talking about that more than probably was necessary. The short version, A+, yay for the X Men. Um, other questions that I had. Um, I had a question of, if you were able to make a movie right now, what would it be about? And I thought about this for like 3 seconds when I read the question. And what I think would be amazing, because my brain automatically was like, if I was making a movie right now, I'm doing it with the limitations of current society and not being able to, production companies not being in the works and stuff. Um, but so I started thinking about like uh, a a found footage movie of a guy who decides to start a in his isolation decides to start a YouTube channel and just starts spitting off the most bizarre, just unfounded, completely just just batshit crazy conspiracy theories about the whole current coronavirus thing, and and like do it as found footage, and it starts off with him just making these videos, and then also like follow-up videos where he's like, yeah, this is all just bullshit I'm making up, and like include like phone calls where first he's got like Alex Jones like figures who are like, someone's finally speaking the truth, blah blah blah, like trying to spin that like that, where it's accepting a lot of where like he's getting embraced into this conspiracy culture. And then also he starts getting like vaguely threatening phone calls, because some of his theories may be true, I don't know. So I have not put a lot of thought into that, obviously. Just kind of spun it off in a minute. Um, Probably not something that would necessarily like it would need to be a very timely thing. So maybe I should just do that as a YouTube series now. Um, but it was just, I mean, it seemed like it would be fun. Like I'm thinking less Mel Gibson conspiracy theory movie, more Men in Black weirdness, or just going a step further to like Invader Zim weirdness. Um, oh my god, yeah, no, like you're in, just make the video about like Div just ranting about how this is all a plot. Um, so yeah, so that would be my answer to that. Um, Another question that I got was tips for nailing subtle character beats. And I'm assuming this is in the context of like RPGs and stuff. Um, the biggest tip I think I could have for that is listen. Don't necessarily plan them out. I feel like the interesting thing, like, I feel like characters are always more interesting when like you have an idea about them when you're going to start playing, but you always learn more things about them as the game goes on. And you have an idea of who they are in a vacuum, but you don't get to learn who they are until they interact with the rest of the party. And that's just so much more fun. So like listen to what options are being given to you by the rest of the party, and then like don't over plan, don't overthink it, just kind of listen to what the character is telling you to. So I just did, I mean, I think it's kind of the thing you kind of have to discover as you go along, and that's part of what makes it fun. So those are some questions for right now. I've got some other ones I will do in another video in a little bit.